What's up, guys? Welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. Today, it is part two of the Dominion guide, floor 31 to 60, um, and we'll get right on to it. So, at floor 35, it's basically just a Dragoon by itself. You can beat this Dragoon down any way you like. I'm pretty sure it's quite easy for you. I mean, it was quite easy for me. I mean, the single heroes are, um, I guess, not that hard at all. You can use the inspire button again. I can't stress that enough if you are having difficulties. And with Dragoon is when he's down to maybe 10 to 15% of his health, he will have that invulnerability ability on. So if you want, you can time your stun, so which I did there, so you'd avoid that invulnerability. Otherwise, it, like I said, pretty easy. And then we go back to more just troops and armies and killing. We'll just wait for this army part to finish, and then we'll go to the next boss, which is this big guy. So in this floor, your hero HP can go below 30%. So even if one of your heroes go down to 30%, you pretty much fail. I did have trouble with this boss initially. I would suggest if you're in the lowish level, try not to use any of your troops because it actually makes him use his awakening and it hurts a lot. And and if you don't have any healers, you know you're pretty much done. And you won't have enough HP to finish this fight. The other thing is if you do have like Lucence or Arya in that floor, you can wait it out until you heal back pretty much and then you kill it. So that's another tip there. And then we'll go back to the floors again. And floor 45, this is where it gets interesting. You can only deploy rebel heroes in this floor. This is where it gets a little bit interesting and a little bit hard for I guess, for yourself if you don't have the right heroes. So the top right corner of your heroes is where you can actually see what type of hero they are. R stands for the rebel, I is for imperials, S is for sellswords, and N for nobles. So as you can see, I'm scrolling through here, and to see if we have rebel heroes, which I do have my XMK3, a Cure Knight, and sorry, my Phantom, which which I will use to get through this. But first, I will use the Inspire button, like I told you guys about, because I mean, not all my heroes are well geared, and for most part, my main character will do a lot of the damage. My XMK3 here is not too bad. He's actually decently geared, so I wasn't too worried. In my Phantom and my Cure Knight, they're really not. I wouldn't even bother trying put like lower level heroes, I guess. And let's get on to it. So my technique here is if you don't have enough heroes, is I don't actually use any of my troops. And if I know a big damage is coming or awakening is gonna happen, I can actually use my footmen to soak up the damage. In here, my like I said, most of my heroes are decently geared. At least my rebel heroes are. But uh, in the later floors, I'll show you guys that there's one really long fight, and it takes a while because I actually don't have a lot of the heroes needed. So here I managed to beat that with the Inspire thanks to that 60% stat boost. Then we go back to the floors again with the armies. Let's go through this really quickly, and it's very uninteresting, And in here at the 50th floor, deploy only noble heroes. So I do have a lot of noble heroes. The only reason why I did the inspire here is to get through it quickly. I mean, you can imagine going to 120 floors one by one. So I do have a lot of noble heroes. My original team basically is a full noble, except I wasn't using Flame Fist at the time when I was downing the content. I actually used Aegis, only because Fleur there's a Fleur in the opposing team, and I was pretty scared of her awakening, so I was planning to soak up that damage with Aegis awakening. So that ended pretty quickly. I mean, we go through the floors again, and we're back in business. So this is an Imperial only hero. So click that inspire button. Make sure you do at least. I mean, you can do 20%. I don't think it matters that much, but I was just doing 60% so I can get through this content really quickly. Like I said before, I actually did 20% when I first started this. Didn't know that you can go up to 60%. So as you can see, I don't have a lot of Imperial heroes apart from Arya. So this is one of the longest fights that I had to do because I only had Arya. Like I said, I was 60 something when I down this floor. And what you do is pretty much don't use any of the troops unless you're gonna soak up some damage like that. Um, because you really want the opposing team to hit you, so you can use your awakening, which does a lot more damage than your normal attack. So don't use any of the like I said, don't use any of your troops or whatever, and just let them hit you, and eventually you will build up your awakening and you will pretty much kill them off, really. And because I got Arya plus the main character as both healers, you're pretty much gonna heal yourself. And with that 60% stat boost, it's not you're guaranteed not to die. Your only problem with this strategy is taking too long. You actually have like 300 seconds to beat this team, and if you go past us, obviously you fail. So um, I think eventually here I started using the troops because I was getting irritated. It's taking a while, but there's nothing I can do about it. My other Imperial heroes were, pretty weak. So let's just get through this. And there you go. And we go back to the normal army stuff for another 4 floors. And here we are, floor 60, where you can only deploy sellsword heroes. And again, this is one of the longest fights I have because the only sellsword that I have decently geared is Peony, and she is basically a tank, even though it says front DPS. She doesn't actually have a lot of damage. In this case, I was debating whether I should actually bring Peony or just just solo it, because before I actually managed to just use my main character and solo the whole thing. So there are a couple of things I'd like to highlight in this fight. is one, try not to use your troops. And if you are going to use troops, just use the footmen if you're having trouble. So don't in here in this footage, I actually use different heroes because I mean different troops. I mean because I just wanted to get it done. But one thing I highlight is if you're having difficulty, even with the 60%, because you don't have the right heroes, and this applies to the other floors as well, is just use your footmen if you think big damage is coming, awakening is about to happen. In this case, PO needs awakening. You have to make sure you have troops in front of you. If you don't, you will take a lot of damage, but I think you should be able to survive that thanks to the stat boost. After that, then you just have to deploy the troops as well, and I mean the footmen as well. The second thing is there's actually a trick in this fight, whereas if you don't have a melee in front of you, is the other team will basically try and attack your main character. And what you can do is you pretty much use deploy one footman to push the army back. So you can. I actually didn't do it here because I wasn't scared that I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna get through this, and I wanted them to do a lot of damage to my main character so I can use my awakening. But if you're pretty low on health, you can deploy one footman to push them back and they can't attack you. So if you have a lot of command points left, just deploy one, they'll move back, you heal up, they kill the footman, and then you deploy another footman to push them back again. Just rinse and repeat. Uh, and other than that, your main concern in this fight, in my case, is the time limit. So if you don't have enough DPS, you will run out of time and you will pretty much lose. Which brings me to the second point, whereas if you have a lot of health, make sure the heroes are hitting you because you need to build up that awakening bar and you need to use that awakening as much as you can. Um, or else you'll run out of time. And for me in here, I think I went as low as like below 90 seconds left. So if you are having any troubles, make sure the other team is hitting you enough so you can build up your awakening bar. Um, Other than that, it's just rinse and repeat. Send your footman if you're low on HP and get hit again. Other than that, you should be fine as long as you have enough deeps. So I'll leave you guys with the last bit of the clip. Click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful. Share it to your friends who are having trouble with this floor. And part 3 should be coming out soon. Other than that, I'll see you guys around. Happy gaming, guys, and good luck.